What's up, guys? I am back to bring you your recap, on-time recap of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 11, Episode 3, and it is titled A New Edition. And this episode started out with this newfound friendship between Eva and Porsha. I think I'm going to like this friendship, except for the fact that Eva is being oddly shady out of nowhere, my God. So I hope that she doesn't drag Porsha into her messiness. But Porsha in this workout scene did call Eva out in her confessional for being a flip-flopper like Cynthia. So I think that Porsha may be on to the messy that is Eva, because she said she had no clue that Eva had issues or did not like Marlo, my God. Because in this scene, Eva did shade Marlo, claiming that she didn't know she was high maintenance. I think we all knew Marlo was pretty high maintenance, and she also shaded Marlo for being 40-something and not being married, where Nene has been married for over 20 years. And then her shade towards Cynthia was in reference to having a big ass as a model. There are no models who have big asses but Cynthia, according to Eva, my God. So in this scene, I think the most important thing that I wanted to address was hearing Porsha say that she wants to post and shout it to the rooftop that she's in love. I think when we're all first falling in love and we're in that honeymoon phase, we want to shout it and share it. But it was significant to me that Porsha acknowledged that they're moving too fast, so it makes it hard for her to be able to post things. And I said that in my initial recap when I found out that Porsha was pregnant and engaged to this dude, my God. They're moving too fast. And it's scary because I've addressed red flags before and ignoring the red flags, and Porsha has acknowledged that they're moving too fast. Well, she hasn't said they're moving too fast. She said they're moving fast. But for me, the interpretation is too fast, because if you're moving fast and you're already a celebrity and you have a brand and someone can use you, that's a red flag, my God. So again, as I said before, let's keep Porsha up in prayer, because I'm not sure that this relationship is going to work out, especially because if this person is the person you feel like you're in love with, they're right for you, they're genuine and transparent in your opinion, you shouting it from the rooftop and being able to post should not be something you should not do simply because it's moving fast. I think it is because you are aware, Porsha, that something is not right, especially with it moving so fast. Next, we did see the whole moment with Greg and Nene, and Greg going to the center to be able to get his CAT scan, I believe it was, to confirm that he no longer has cancer, or the cancer has been removed from his body. But typically, the next step is to do chemo, because there may be microscopic cancer cells that could begin to grow, although they remove the visible ones, my God. So Nene said that she has to be Greg's rock, because he has always been strong for her, and now that he is weak, she has to be the strong one, and she's going to do that for him. But it was interesting to see someone in this space with having to decide if chemo is the right thing to do or not for them, especially knowing that the doctors are suggesting that he should use the chemo to prevent the cancer coming back or the cancer cells growing. And I think it's even more scary because people have shared about what it's like to go through chemo, and to think you're only going through chemo to reduce the risk 50%, my God, can be very scary. So again, this whole journey, I think, is something that we don't see often on the Housewives. So this is a whole new level of substance, to where we're now focusing on what is most important in life. And it's not the back and forth cattiness and shadiness or pettiness. It is really being able to love people while you have them and appreciating them while they are still here, my God. Also, it was interesting to hear that Toni Braxton's holistic doctor told Nene to get some trees, and Nene ordered some trees to, I guess, put in her house and surround Greg, because Greg would like to take a more holistic approach to being healed from cancer, opposed to the chemo route, my God. And then he said if somebody wants her to buy a forest and some trees, she's going to do that to make her husband feel better. And it was also great to see Cynthia come over and show some support. And we did find out that Greg is not going to do chemo, especially because there is no current reason to do so. But I think the doctor's concern is the preventative maintenance not being done, and then when it happens, it could be too late. Next, we were finally introduced to the new edition of the Housewives, Shamari Devoe, who is Ronnie Devoe's wife from New Edition. I had no clue that they were 13 years apart in age. I also had no clue that they had twin boys, as well as that they have been together for 17 years. She said they met in 2001. At a Janet Jackson tribute event, I believe it was, my God. And they had sex on the first night, and I am an advocate for sex on the first night, only because people have this stereotype or stigma that if you have sex on the first night, you will not be able to make it towards a relationship. And my thing is, regardless if you have sex on the first night, or the 20th night, or the 100th night, it does not change the intentions of the person and what their intentions are with you specifically. So that was great to see that they've been together for 17 years and had sex on the first night, my God. But more about Shamari. She was a part of the group Black. She said they were a platinum selling group. I had no clue about that. I do know their song 808. I did not have a clue that Candy was the writer of that song, but it's great to see that she's on this show. I think she will bring something great and something different. She actually looks like a housewife in the opening. She fits right in, my God, and she's going to bring the drama, the shade, and the crazy. So I can't wait to see what is to come from her role on this show, my God. We also saw that moment where Ronnie and Shamari were in the studio together. I will say the song sounded hot. Now, Ronnie's vocals were a tad bit sketchy. I think that although Shamari doesn't have a strong voice, she does have a ear-appealing voice, and she can actually sing a little bit, my God. So the song is hot. I would download it and listen to it. I can't wait to hear it in full, but what they shared with us was great, and it was beautiful to see them as a couple working together. And they said, well, actually Shamari said she plans to be like Jay-Z and Beyonce, but I'm not sure that's where she's gonna go because it's a whole different monster and level of talent that comes along with being a Jay-Z and a Beyonce, my God, regardless if your man is a legend in the R&B game. It was also funny to me that Candy was following Shamari's twins on Instagram, but wasn't following Shamari, and claims that she and Shamari are friends. So my thing is, if Shamari is your friend, Candy, why were you not following her on Instagram? So I'm wondering if they are distant friends that are now being forced to come closer because of this show, or were they really friends? Because it doesn't make sense that she wouldn't have been following Shamari, my God. Next, it was great to see that Candy did return the favor and contact Porsha and invited her to Shamari's show for, I guess, their 808 reunion. And I was glad to hear that Candy followed Porsha on Instagram. And I think that speaks of volumes of the progress and where Candy is trying to go with being in a better space with Porsha, because, I mean, it's all fine, well and good to say you forgive somebody, you want to move on. But when you press that follow button to begin seeing them on your timeline, that is a whole new level of forgiveness and moving forward, because when you really don't forgive somebody, you don't want to see their ass on your timeline on Instagram, my God. Now at the Black event, Nene and Cynthia shaded Shamari. Nene in her confessional gave this interesting shade towards Shamari when she drunk her juice and sipped her straw and gave her the side eye. So I'm not sure what that's about, but we probably will soon find out. Cynthia shaded Shamari in 808, Black. Black, and said that their makeup, hair, and wardrobe was very dated. It did give me a tad bit dated, and they should have done something more young, fun, and youthful and modern to make their music more current for what is going down today. So I do agree with Cynthia's perspective and opinion on it, but it's ironic because you have Eva, who is the younger model, who is shading Cynthia for being outdated as well in this same episode. Then for some reason, Porsha's man and him being a chef were having a hot dog company came up Kandi shaded Porsha's man and said he's a dog. Now this is where it gets iffy, and the Kandi fans have to explain this to me with Kandi's personality. These are the kinds of jabs, because remember, Porsha is not currently taking any real jabs, if any at all, towards Kandi. So this is the time, these kinds of comments like this, that Kandi is making jabs about Porsha's man being a dog and being in her business and all of that, opposed to minding her own business. And granted, she's on this show. But my problem in the past is Kandi has always played victim when people clap back and attack her, even in situations with Phaedra, my God. These are the moments that y'all forget, Kandi fans, that she was making these jabs when the other party was not making jabs at her. So please comment down below if you are strictly a Kandi fan and anti-Porsha, because you know I love me some Porsha. I want to understand you Kandi fans. How do you overlook Kandi's shady comments that have nothing to do with her, but then get upset when a Porsha does something or a Phaedra does something to clap back at her? Because these are the moments, as I've stated, that you guys forget about. Next, when Ronnie, Devoe, and Shamari walked over to the table at the event to greet all of the ladies, it was so weird that Shamari told Kandi that Ronnie had some advice or critiques for Kandi and Escape because they were on tour together. And so for her to nudge him, to give him a heads up, threw me off. But he did give Kandi some advice in reference to, I guess, their set list and it being cohesive and in the right order. And I love that Kandi clapped back. Well, she clapped back in her confessional when she really should have done it to his face. And she said that, why are you giving me advice when you actually were the opening act for my group, my God? So it was interesting though, because Nene said he was giving Kandi factual and real advice, and it was true. So I'm not sure if I agree or not, because I don't know what their set list is like, but it was like a very odd and strange moment and weird and awkward to have him giving Kandi critiques, especially when it was unsolicited, my God. It was just unnecessary at that moment. Next, this whole colorism, color issue, dark versus light skin moment that we kind of touched on very lightly. I'm not sure if Eva is one of those colorism, colorist, color issue kind of a people, but Kandi called it, I called it, I think the viewers called it as well, because Porsha's friends from high school with Shamari, and the group is called Black. And when Eva said she likes Porsha's friends, Kandi said, well, Shamia is her friend too, and she's not here. And Eva said she hasn't met her, but she is Black, and not Black with a Q. And my thing is, was Eva referring to Shamia being dark skinned opposed to being light skinned? Because that was so inappropriate, my God. Although it would be strange because her ex and her baby daddy, Kevin McCall, is chocolate. And she also dated my boo, Lance Gross. So she likes chocolate men. So maybe that was a moment that kind of was misinterpreted, or a slip of the tongue, or a joke that went too far. But I do appreciate that Kandi caught on to it and tried to call it out in the confessional, because it is something that needs to be addressed, not only on this show, but in our community, my God. Now, Kandi and Common versus Porsha and her mom, talking about Porsha's baby daddy, the hot dog guy. Can't remember his name because, I mean, he's not even sexy enough for me to even remember his name, my God. So the whole moment with Common. I love that Common told Kandi's ass to stay out of Porsha's business. Here we are, another person on Kandi's team, because Todd did it last week, warning Kandi to stay out of Porsha's business. And I'm glad that her team is catching on to what people have been saying outside of Kandi's crazy ass fans, my God, who will just ride for her for no reason without having any facts or valid reasons to defend her. At least her team is now seeing, keep your ass out of their business, because you can't play victim anymore after you have been the one to now being exposed to starting stuff first, because you are supposed to be back on good terms with Porsha, and now your lips are on her man, regardless of the tea that you do know or not, because y'all not cool enough for you to be dropping any tea to Porsha about her man, Kandi. So Again, I love that Carmen acknowledged and told her to mind her business, and she didn't say that abrasively, but she was just like, stay out of it, girl. Then it still went even further because Kandi mentioned that old boy gave another girl a Rolex, and is that his thing to give out Rolexes? And Carmen said she heard that as well, but she was not going to spread something that she wasn't sure about. And my thing is, Carmen is starting to gain more respect for me than Kandi is, because Kandi is being messy in this moment when she and Porsha have already made up, and then she's gonna play victim when Porsha does something dumb that actually offends her and hurts her. And then now she has the girl that Porsha beat up still a part of her team. Well, not still a part of her team, because was she ever really a part of her team? She has her in this scene to now drop the tea about Porsha and her man. And my thing is, there is no way for Porsha to see this and be okay with Kandi and take this in a positive way. You could only receive it negatively, my God. So Jamie showed up spilling the tea that her girlfriend, when they were in Africa, found out that Porsha was dating her man and he moved on. And then it was also exposed that his whole thing is getting tattoos of these girls' names and getting face tattoos and giving out Rolexes. And they did say he falls quickly and falls hard and does these drastic things. And it was scary because you guys know I have been on alert watch and giving that dude the side eye in reference to what his intentions are with Porsha. And to see the moment happen simultaneously where Porsha and her mom were discussing the same stuff. Everything that Kandi was talking about, Porsha was saying the same exact thing without Kandi even knowing that he already did it for Porsha. The Rolex, the tattoo, and then next Porsha said, oh, he's gonna get my face tattoo on his back. Porsha, oh my gosh, ring the alarm. This is not the one, and it made me cringe to see mom crying and saying, oh, he loves you. He's really there for you. He's probably the one. I said, oh, damn. The producers of this show are brilliant and shady at the same time, because those moments need to be played simultaneously. But it does expose Porsha's boo as probably some shady character, my God. And I know people change, but I think a sign of him changing is to have done something differently with Porsha with moving forward than he's done with all his other exes. And then we found out he can't even cook. He orders food and has other hoes or other girls cook and stuffs it in his freezer to make people and other girls thinking that he cooks for them. Like, this is a mess. This is a mess, and she's pregnant, my God. This is a mess, and she's gonna get married to him. This is a mess, and she's engaged. This is a mess. This is a mess, my God. I'm afraid for Porsha, because I feel like she may have messed up. And I told you guys, she and I are twins in the spirit. I messed up. I just didn't have a child, my God. So, woo! I don't know what to say, but that's about it for this recap. I just want to clarify once again, it is frustrating to see Kandi getting involved in this mess after making up with Porsha, because I hope when Porsha does shady stuff or says shady stuff towards Kandi, she can take the blows and it won't cause them to take several steps back, because anything that Porsha could say or do at this point would be valid in retaliation to Kandi. And not saying a drugging comment or a sex-judging comment is valid, but the reality of it is, I think far beyond the actual comments, you have to acknowledge Kandi starting shit and then wanting to play victim. But that's about it, guys. So please follow me on all social media outlets. Thumbs up this video, subscribe to my channel, turn on the notifications, share this video, and what else? That's about it, guys. Thank you for watching. Bye.